lots of challenges when you're, rejuvenating a main street or harbour area. You're disrupting people, where people live for quite a time. So this model has been great in the fact that we can map what the future of Balbriggan will look like.
Welcome to Smart in the City, the Babel podcast. I am your host, Tamlin Shimizu, and really at Babel, we aim to connect the players in the smart city industry with high quality information and ideas through our platform and services. This podcast is really an extension of this goal and mission to drive the change for a better urban life. Before we get started, I wanted to inform all you lovely listeners about a great opportunity. Babel has extended the deadline for the Innovation Market Watch for 2023. So top smart city companies are invited to apply before the 30th of September, and it's completely free. So just follow the link in the show notes. So today on the journey through Dublin, we are going to the northern edge of Dublin's coast to the town of Balbriggan to talk about the Smart Balbriggan program and the community-based and innovative projects that this small town of 25,000 inhabitants is boasting. So with me is no better person to speak about this than Aishling Highland, who is the Fingal County Council Digital Program Officer. Welcome, Aishling.
Hi, Tamlin. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, our pleasure. We've been digging through a lot of different wonderful things about Smart Dublin, and I'm really excited to hear from your perspective as well. So also for our listeners, a little bit about your background and why you're speaking to us is that you're really responsible for the development and implementation of Fingal's digital strategy, and you're coordinating digital initiatives and activities to drive, obviously the end result, the end goal is the better quality services for the citizens. And you're also the coordinator for Smart Dublin and representing Fingal County Council on many smart city forums like the All Ireland Smart Cities Forum and Major Cities of Europe. So did I sum it up okay, or do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I think that sums it up quite well. I'm responsible for the Fingal digital strategy, and I work with Smart Dublin and represent the All Ireland Smart Cities Forum and Major Cities of Europe, and deliver, I suppose, digital projects and initiatives to, I suppose, better the quality of life of the citizens, businesses and visitors of people to Fingal, which is located North County Dublin.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's it's really interesting also to always understand how did you get to this role, and what's your background? Yeah,
well, I suppose my background traditionally I would be I studied multimedia and communications, so that's formally where my education background is in. But then I went and worked with the Department of Communications for a time, working on the National Digital Strategy. And I suppose from there, I kind of got my love of public service and working with people and delivering, I suppose, initiatives that would have an effect in real life and have, I suppose, policy changes that would affect citizens and businesses.
Great. And then you ended up at Smart Dublin, really representing Fingal County Council. And maybe just to get us a little bit started off is a bit of a teaser. So I read that Balbriggan is the youngest large town in Ireland. Is that true? Yeah.
Balbriggan. It's one of the fastest growing towns in Ireland. It's also one of the most culturally diverse, and it has, on average, one of the youngest populations of a town in Ireland. So we have quite an interesting mix there. A lot of young people, a lot of diversity. And so when we were thinking about smart districts and digital initiatives and projects for the town. Young people and community are really our focus.
Cool.
So it's made quite an interesting, I think the demographics make quite an interesting area for a smart city project initiative.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you give us another maybe fun fact or any kind of related fact about Balbriggan?
Oh, okay. It's coastal. I don't know. Do I have any facts? I can tell you what it has. I suppose it's a coastal town, but it also has around it has quite rural, like farmyards. There's lots of growers around Balbriggan, lots of growers of fruit and veg and tomatoes and that kind of thing. And it's got a castle, Braemore Castle. And I suppose traditionally, like many towns in Ireland, it has like a main street where you've got lots of economic activity, like cafes and hotel and that kind of. And it has the train, so it has a dart, and we call it the dart train. And I suppose that makes it quite popular for people to be able to commute into Dublin City. So a lot of people that live in Balbriggan actually work in Dublin City, so they're commuting out. And that was actually one of the challenges of the district. We see this exodus of people, going out of Balbriggan to work. So how do we support job creation and economic growth within the town itself and keep the jobs within Balbriggan? So I don't know.
Do you live? Yeah, no, it's perfect. Thanks. Yeah, you painted a wonderful picture. So, do you live there yourself?
I don't actually.
Okay. No, all good. Oftentimes people don't work actually where they live, or vice versa.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, how many people are in Balbriggan? Or what's the population?
So the last census, the population, that was 2016 census said it was just over 24,000. But we've done, I suppose we've just done another census. The results are still, I suppose, coming in. It was only done this year, but it's estimated that it's over the 30,000 now in population. Mm-hmm. So it's quite a significant growth, and it's grown substantially since, I think, I don't have the facts in front of me, but it's grown a huge amount over the last 15 years. It had quite a substantial growth, the largest growth in any town in Ireland. So it's quite significant, and I think that's the placing of Balbriggan. Where it is in Dublin. It's North County Dublin. It's easy access to the city. It's on the train line. All those kind of factors have played into it. And population has just sprawled.
What are the challenges? So I guess when we speak of like Smart Dublin, right? We're thinking of like a big city that has lots of capabilities and resources to be smart, right? But is Balbriggan actually like too small to be called, really classified as smart? And what are the challenges that you view with that?
Yeah, I suppose we like to kind of nearly stay away from the concept of smart city because, well, we're not a city, first of all, we're a town. And I suppose the district that we've kind of developed is focused on the community. So we call it a smart community initiative. And I suppose the way Smart Dublin have developed these smart districts, each district kind of focuses on a theme. And, some of them districts are located within Dublin City itself, and some of them are located in the rural Dublin local authorities. So, I don't know, does that answer your question?
No. I think it fits very nicely also into our definition. Smart city is not so. When I think of smart city, I actually think of smart places, the towns, how to connect better with the rural areas, and I think that's really what makes the bigger cities smart, is if they also incorporate the surrounding regions and the smaller towns into that concept and include them in a lot of initiatives. So I think that fits quite nicely. Also, with when I say smart city, I really mean like smart places, or like these the whole fabric of how a place would be become smart, I suppose. So so what's the story of Smart Balbriggan? Like, how did it start with Smart Dublin, and what have been some of the milestones?
Yeah, well, we I suppose in Fingal County Council, we were looking to develop a smart district, and we, I suppose, wanted to create a district that was focused on community. We were looking at Balbriggan because in 2019, Balbriggan had a huge, I suppose, community consultation and survey called the Our Balbriggan Rejuvenation Plan, where we engaged with, I think it was 40% of the population took part in that engagement. And we got an awful lot of feedback on lots of different areas within Balbriggan, lots to do with the public realm improvements and rejuvenating the town itself. But the likes of having more activities for younger people, more, I suppose, different types of outlets, different types of activities and initiatives that younger people and people looking for jobs could get involved in. And I suppose sports is very, very well covered in Ireland. We have quite an active community, GAA and group sports. We're very well covered when it comes to organised sports in Ireland. But when it comes to digital and coding and initiatives like that, sometimes we don't have as many avenues as maybe sports and that other recreations would have. So we looked at that survey engagement from 2019, and we developed the Smart Balbriggan district and its priorities based on the feedback from that survey. So we took back all the relevant feedback that could feed into the district, and we launched then in June of 2020, just in time for lockdowns and COVID and all of that. So
perfect timing.
Yeah, a difficult time to launch a community initiative when the community couldn't really meet in person. So it was very challenging. But yes, we launched online because that's what we had to do at the time. And we had a couple of, I suppose, areas that the district was going to focus on. And I briefly mentioned them earlier. That was the focusing on improved public realm, community building and job creation and economic growth. So all of our projects, all of our initiatives they're focused on one of those themes, and we've kind of mapped that all and made that all publicly available on a public Trello board for the community. And I suppose we've engaged with the community annually to get their feedback on what projects they would like to see developed. So that's how initially we started. We used that background information from that huge engagement that took place, and we tried to listen to the people of Balbriggan first and foremost, and then develop this district based on that. So we have a couple of areas that we've kind of focused on, a couple of different projects. Because we're a small team, we've had to start small. It's not a huge district at the moment. But the likes of, we've put in public Wi-Fi in the town and some smart benches that you can charge your phone on, and they're solar powered as well. And we've put in an IoT network and done some IoT projects. Like I a ring buoy sensor project, where if a ring buoy goes missing, it sends a signal to the water safety officer to replace it, so that it's not missing for 2 weeks and nobody knows about it. And a couple of other citizen science-based IoT projects that we're working directly with the community, so that they receive the sensors, they get involved to get some education about it, and I think they're tracking things like traffic and air pollution and that kind of thing.
Yeah, is that the WeCount project?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. We actually have that as a use case on our platform already. We've been, of course, collecting use cases from Smart Dublin, as there's a lot of great lessons to learn. And I actually know about the project previously as well from an event too. So, what do you think is the biggest challenge in getting people involved, and what has the kind of the biggest success been as well?
I think the biggest challenge has been COVID, because normally with something like this, we're coming into a community, and yes, the people that are already interested in sensors, or that already have some basic understanding of a smart district and maybe even know of some of these projects already, they are great to have and they're brilliant in the community. But we're trying to reach the people that don't know about us and that don't know, we're trying to break down silos and make this accessible to the community. And so when we speak to the community, we don't tend to say IoT, we just say these connected devices, and we try and make it more real for people. So the hardest challenge has definitely been COVID, because traditionally we would come to the community, we would go to the community hall, we'd meet people where they already are, instead of, doing a webinar, because you're going to get the people traditionally that are already interested in hearing about what you have to say. So going into schools and going into community centres and going, having a pop-up outside the supermarket, that's where you get the people that live in the community. When you're at the train station in the morning, when people are going to work, and letting them know where they're, go to where the people are, is where I suppose we would have liked to start the district. So it's kind of been a challenge in that sense, that we couldn't do that engagement, that in-person engagement at the beginning. But since the easing of restrictions, we have now been able to, do some of that in-person engagement. So we've gone into schools, we've gone into each secondary school in Balbriggan and spoke to the transition year class. So that's the class before they start their Leaving Cert exams. So yeah, we've gone in and we've done some education and awareness around, IoT and the work of, Smart Dublin, to educate and to let people know about the different types of jobs that there are out there, and also to get their feedback on, what this district should be for them, what sort of projects it should it focus on, and that they have a voice in it. So yeah, it's great now to be able to, go into schools and go into where people are and meet them and tell them about this district and get their input and involvement. And when they hear about some of the projects, they get really interested, especially when it's something they're passionate about. So that's where the Ring Buoy Sensor project came about. Lots of people, because it's coastal town, use the beach. And that was one project that actually, initiated from the community.
Really cool stuff. And I actually have so many more questions I was thinking about asking you. But unfortunately, this is a mini series, so we have to keep somewhat of a time limit. But I would like to give you a few minutes, if you'd like it as well, to really touch on any points that you feel like are really important for people to know about what you're doing. Really an open floor for you if you'd like it. You don't have to take it, but you can have it if you'd like.
Yeah, I suppose one thing I haven't mentioned that would probably be one of our biggest projects at the moment is we've developed this 3D model of Balbriggan. And it's kind of like a digital twin. And we've, we've mapped the town, we've used LiDAR data, and we've created this model that is a replica, I suppose, a digital replica. And we've mapped the public realm projects. So there's huge rejuvenation, and there's lots of, I suppose, with that, there can be lots of challenges when you're, rejuvenating a main street or a harbour area. You're disrupting people, where people live for quite a time, and you're changing things, and change can be difficult. So this model has been great in the fact that we can map what the future of Balbriggan will look like. So we've mapped these new areas on the model, and we've been able to now go out into public consultation events and go out to schools and to the community to show them this is, the way the harbour and the Quay Street area will look like. So as a tool, I think that's been a really, really interesting, I suppose, way of citizen engagement that we haven't used before. And yeah, it's just, I suppose it's one of the biggest projects that has come off the district. That, I suppose is a physical project that we can show people, which is always good. And they view it using a VR headset as well. So I suppose for people, it's a nice way of engagement so that they can really feel the space and feel like they're in it. So that's just, yeah.
Yeah, that's super cool. And I can also tell that you have this communication background too, because you really talk about how you're disrupting the people's lives. So really taking that into consideration and how you communicate that with them. So, well done. With that, I will move on to another segment of ours. And it's one of my favorites. It's called Roll with the Punches. Roll with the punches. Answer this or that questions quickly and with your first instincts. It's not too tough, don't worry. Okay. But we'll just go through all the questions. And after we've gone through all the questions, you answer quickly. Then you can get your chance to explain your answers if you'd like. So they're just fun questions, so no pressure. Yes, are you ready?
Yeah, sure. I think.
Don't worry. All right. So, town or city life?
Town.
Fall or spring in Dublin?
Spring.
Citizen engagement or stakeholder engagement?
Citizen.
Coastal city or mountain city?
Coastal.
Technological advances or cultural heritage?
Cultural heritage.
Good. Do you want to explain any of your answers?
I suppose the only one that would maybe not make sense is that I went for cultural heritage. And I suppose the main reason is I think technological advancements are happening anyway. And, they'll happen, and we'll, policy will catch up and all of that. I just think it's a natural evolution, and I just love culture. So that's why I chose it.
No, I agree too. And I work directly in smart cities as well and everything. But I think I agree with you. But I think they have to be balanced a bit and taking both into account. So now I will ask you one final question, and that is a question we ask every single guest, and it is to you, what is a smart city?
To me, a smart city is a city that works for the people. That is just, you don't even notice it. It's just something that the citizens don't even realize they're in a smart city, because it's just so non-intrusive. So if it's something to do with sensors collecting air quality, or telling a local authority staff member to collect a bin or to check a ring buoy, or if it's helping a citizen get onto a digital skills class, it just exists without there being any hardship.
Yeah.
That's and it's connecting. It's all connected with the local authorities, so we're able to oversee and make efficient decisions on the town. So that's where I see it. Like, people don't even know they're in a smart city.
I actually really love that answer. So I asked this so many times, right, to so many people, and I've never gotten the answer of non-intrusive before. So that's a really unique perspective that you bring. So I appreciate that. And so with that, hopefully it wasn't too painful. I really enjoyed speaking with you. And yeah, thank you so much. It was really interesting to also learn about how, such a small town can still be working on such innovative and looking forward at so many different projects. And I'm really excited to see where it takes you. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks, Tamlin. Great to speak to you.
Great to speak to you too. And to all of our listeners, don't forget you can always create a free account on babel-smartcities.eu. There you can find projects like the WeCount project that we just spoke about. You can find solutions, other implementations, lots of knowledge there that you can take advantage of. Thank you all for listening. I'll see you at the next stop on the journey to a better urban life.